When I started the first Nook, I felt I was inventing everything because I had not read a book. I had
And
no
this was,
idea
when
what
was this?
summer hill school. 2014.
2014. Okay.
I was just a fresh engineering graduate. All I knew about education was my experience of education. That's it. And I approached it as a student would, not as an educator, not as somebody who had read 20 books. John Holt, Summerhill School, you know, um, Gandhi's Nai Talim, all of these things I read or understood like many years later. When I was creating the Nook, I felt like, oh, I'm inventing everything.
So why did you
Everything-
invent the? I mean, why did you create the Nook in the
For
first
me,
place? Okay.
yeah, because I'd come to realization. In my house, it was a famous saying, right? When we were kids, like, okay, study hard, work hard, suffer a little bit. In the future, you will be happy and free. Happy and free, these two words. Uh, the first day I walked into my job after finishing college, that's how I came to Bangalore. I got hired by a software company. Nice plush office, everything. But the moment I walked in, I just knew instinctively that this is not going to happen. Happy and free are not going to happen. I don't know why I felt it. Just something on the faces of people. They didn't look how I imagined happy and free people should look. That image, I can it's burnt into my memory. That image of these guys just turning around and complaining and not doing anything about it. It became so strong that that was a bigger fear than what would happen if I quit.
Mm-hmm.
So it was literally like 30th of December, um, 2013, one day before New Year's, and I told them, like, from 1st January, I am not coming. There is going to be no notice period. You want to keep the money, keep everything. I don't need an experience certificate, nothing. But I'm quitting, and this is done. Resentment. And of course, like, my dad did not speak to me for a couple of months. My mom spoke to me every evening. She would call me and cry. And they were like, oh, and my mother is persistent. The next 2.5 years, she called every evening. Wow. Crying stopped after a few months, but they were like, at least do a job, at least do something on the side. To the most desperate part of it, my mom was like, okay, at least open us like a small like cigarette shop or something like this, something, because they never saw this as a job. They saw this as charity. Like, I'm just doing things for others. This scared them. It scared them more than anything else. But to them, I lost it. Right? I have stopped thinking about myself and I started thinking about others over myself. That is insanity. You do that on the side. You don't make it your thing.
Your main thing, right?
So, of course, it bothered them. So they did something nice, which is we just had this natural distance from each other that came out of this. Again, I used to feel bad about it. I used to feel that, okay, my parents, why are they not like other parents who support their kids? You know? But the fact that they were distant made me um, made me find ways to support myself and find a way to survive through this. I don't think I could have done what I did if I had the comfort of my parents' money or their home or any of that. I couldn't have, and I've seen many others fail because of that support. Because I didn't have it, I had to figure it out. I had to. There was no choice. I had to figure out how we bring money next month. And that skill, to this date, helps me so much that in the worst of situations, I don't get nervous. I can stay as calm as now, and have 7 problems to deal with, and still stay calm. So it was needed. That distance, my parents gave me that distance I see it as a gift now, as opposed to resentment. My friends gave me as well. They also thought the cookies, and I also stood like, we just didn't have much to talk about anymore. I moved out of the house. I found some organization that was moving to a village. I moved with them, just random. The next morning, I was on a truck to a village. I didn't know where I'm going. Like, I didn't even ask for the destination. So we just reached somewhere. I'm like, okay, fresh start. That's where I started. So when you have time, right, and you would empathize with this, that when you suddenly quit the things, the life that you had, and you have this time, suddenly your the people you meet, the ideas that you have, the things you think about completely transform.
Oh yeah.
Suddenly, I'm meeting artists and musicians I've never met.
You know, I feel like in some ways, you know, everyone is ordinary but extraordinary
Yeah.
at the same time, and it's just, you know, we only see celebrities and famous people on TV, but like when you go out like this,
Yes.
there are just superheroes and
Yeah.
warriors, and people are just doing incredible things in obscure little village. Nobody knows them. They're no one, you know, except for
Yeah.
the local people. And I just think like these stories would be amazing to kind of get out there so that more people can in the mainstream can see and hear about, you know,
Yeah.
that
The real things.
yeah, and maybe give them also the courage and inspiration to
Yeah.
if they ever have that little spark or seed inside them that, oh, I wish I could just get up and do this. Well, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you can. You know, and the world is so much bigger than what they've told us that we're allowed to dream and allowed to aspire to. There are no rules. I mean, there are rules, but there are no rules, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you meditate on it enough,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
that is actually not a real rule at all. And you
You
can
must
literally just get up and do all kinds of things, you know. But yeah, amazing. Yeah, so you met all these artists and amazing
random
people, right?
No,
And there's the most amazing sort of experience that gives you goosebumps, right? Like in the moment, you're just
and I'm doing all this without a penny in my pocket. So I moved to this village, literally nothing. This organization was at least taking care of the food and lodging, so all good. But that also came as a blessing because I had nothing, no money, which means nothing could distract me.
right.
Even if there's like great programs happening around the world, even if I knew about eco-versities back then, I could not have gone.
Right.
No way. So I have to sit there. I have to have this free time, and I have to figure out a way to use it, right? And that's what led to this realization that okay, if the lie was that if you educate yourself, you find freedom and happiness, then something must be wrong in the way that education was, because that did not lead to freedom and happiness, but something must.
Right.
And so I have to delete my education and start again. And that's how I started creating that first space. For me, nobody else. I was its only beneficiary.
How you are in
The
life.
prime act of spirituality for me is to jump without thinking.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, for us, we would call that faith.
Okay.
Because
Okay. So you're following an inner intuition that comes to you that this is the right way to go.
I have
is it
never, I
something
have
like
never
that?
been very good at
So how do you
thinking too
make
much.
how do you make a decision to
What
go
decision?
this way or that way?
I take away the decision from it,
Oh, okay.
right? Like, okay, there is this opportunity,
Okay.
and you're either going to take it or leave it, right?
Mhm.
Always lean towards taking it, right? And then we'll figure out what happens. I have tremendous faith in myself
Okay.
that I just
So
believe.
you're very much in the flow. I
Yeah,
have to say, because actually, you know, but you have intuition because you picked up on the, like, why did those guys turn around 80 degrees and just sit there for 6 months a year and just keep doing that? Whereas you picked that up and you said, like, this is not right. I'm not
have a
gonna
feeling-
do that. And the thing is, you're following some kind of inner knowing, inner voice that says, telling you
Just
that
do.
this is not the way to go, right? And but like, what separates you from? Because a lot of people will just not question that way because
Yeah.
this is how everybody else does it, and I can't break the mold. I have to stay in that because there's consequences, there's risk, or at least they.
Yeah, my brain
have
never
it,
reaches
right?
so far. Like
Yeah.
we've never had so much conversation inside. Like this is.
Well, so that means that
what
you
I'm
are
saying-
kind of in the flow, though. You
Very
are
much like
sort of like you are.
See, I think those guys also must have thought at some point that hey, all these other guys are talking and not leaving, right? But for me, I thought about it and then like, that's it. Enough thinking. Jump,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it. We'll figure it out. It will get figured out, and that's just how it is.
That's a lot of faith.
Just tremendous amount of faith in myself that
Mhm.
I will be able to make it work somehow. So the important thing is to jump, because if I don't jump immediately, then I might never. Right? So, and that's what I was seeing, and it keeps getting reinforced in front of me all the time. I keep seeing people who are just not jumping, finding excuses to not jump, and then they make plans, and then those plans again excuses, and then plans, and again, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. It becomes harder and harder to jump.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, jump. What am I born with? What am I carrying such a big burden of? As I said, great blessings that I had nothing then, right? All my belongings in one bag, and that's it. My parents are not talking to me. Friends have lost faith in me.
And
Everything was just
those things didn't bother you in those moments, in the sense of like, they'll make
It will
you
bother
feel like,
me later. It bothered me much later when I had time to slow down.
yeah.
But in the heat of the moment, I
Because
don't
a
allow my
lot of
brain to come
people
in the
would
way.
cave under that pressure. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of like in the face of so much
See, it can go both ways.
family opposition and friends, right?
Yes.
This pressure can go both ways, you see.
And I grew up in a Christian family, so Christianity has been the core of who I am. And it also shaped me in different ways also, where I don't just follow blindly. I need to have a personal relationship that I have created with God, rather than a relationship being told by someone. For me, it's something that I went for on my own, and having that understanding. So, yes, I would say faith is like the beginning of everything, because with that, there are no impossibles, if that's a way of putting it, because a lot of possibilities comes when you actually believe that something can happen, and religion is just like that pinch of salt on top of it that just helps you have.
Okay, both of you, I feel like, have described a very similar approach that I've gone much closer to over time, especially in recent time, which is this kind of staying in the flow and just like trusting that things will, if you move in the direction that is true to your heart and your that things will work out, and that I think in different, like I say, religion, spiritual, whatever, have different words for it, but like, or different terminology, but that trust, that kind of faith, that thing, and do you think that the both of you in your ways, following this way of living, has it worked out for you? Like, has it worked? Has it worked? In the sense, like, have things worked out satisfactorily, or in the way that you want, as you have gone about life in this way?
The best part
Anyway,
of
it sounds like you are very successful with Project DEFY and everything else. It seems to be working out, right?
yeah, but if you're somebody who truly lives in the moment, you never have the time to think about what worked out looks like. I've never
Because you're
cared.
constantly just
And so
rolling.
when I was
rolling.
jumping into that boat, or jumping out of that boat, I was not thinking, oh, the future, this is what the life is going to look like. I've had a vision for things.
Yeah.
I've had a vision for how the world should look like, but no, my life can keep surprising me. I would like that.
Okay.
Right? I don't want to know every drink I'm going to make in the future. Right? I want to be surprised by it, and that's okay. And to be surprised, I make accidents happen all the time. As long as I keep allowing accidents to happen, I will keep getting surprised. What other people want to perceive about how successful, unsuccessful, amazing, foolish, whatever, the labels are for them to attach. They can attach it the way they like. I don't care.
He really lives in the present.
Yes.
That's right. I feel like in some ways, everyone is ordinary but extraordinary at the same time, and it's just, we only see celebrities and famous people on TV, but like when you go out like this, there are just superheroes and warriors, and people are just doing incredible things in obscure little village. Nobody knows them. They're no one, except for the local people. And I just, think like these stories would be amazing to kind of get out there so that more people can, in the mainstream, can see and hear about,
Yeah.
that.
The real things.
Yeah, and maybe give them also the courage and inspiration to,
Yeah.
if they ever have that little spark or seed inside them that, oh, I wish I could just get up and do this. Well, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you can. And the world is so much bigger than what they've told us that we're allowed to dream and allowed to aspire to. There are no rules. I mean, there are rules, but there are no rules, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you meditate on it enough,
Yeah.
it's like, wait a minute, that is actually not a real rule at all. And you can literally just get up and do all kinds of things, But yeah, amazing. Yeah, so you met all these artists and amazing
random
people, right?
No,
And there's the most amazing sort of experience that gives you goosebumps, right? Like in the moment, you're just
and I'm doing all this without a penny in my pocket. So I moved to this village, literally nothing. This organization was at least taking care of the food and lodging, so all good. Uh, but that also came as a blessing because I had nothing, no money, which means nothing could distract me.
right.
Even if there's like great programs happening around the world, even if I knew about eco-versities back then, I could not have gone.
Right.
No way. So I have to sit there. I have to have this free time, and I have to figure out a way to use it. Right? And that's what led to this realization that okay, if the lie was that if you educate yourself, you find freedom and happiness, then something must be wrong in the way that education was, because that did not lead to freedom and happiness, but something must.
Right.
And so I have to delete my education and start again. And that's how I started creating that first space. For me, nobody else. I was its only beneficiary. And
Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up, and thank you so much for chatting with me. And it's amazing to see you guys again after our initial meeting in Hoi An last October. And these guys are here to celebrate in Thailand for a 2-week visit for their anniversary and the birthdays and everything. So, and your second trip to Thailand here this time, and your first trip. So, any just final thoughts about your trip so far? Are you enjoying Thailand? I mean, what's the food? The food, especially this meal.
The food.
Okay. The food. Look at her face.
I could
Look
become a meme because.
Look at her face. She's like in heaven.
Yes, I
Okay.
loved the food. Maybe what you can end as a question would be, what is your favorite food?
Oh yeah.
I think that would be the best thing. Like, out of the meal, what was your favorite?
Yes.
Because you're going to do this with meals.
Yes, I will. Yes, I'm hoping that the whole setup with these talks will revolve around eating. So I'm going to be visiting a lot of different coffee places or restaurants.
That,
I mean,
that would be amazing. Like,
so, what was your favorite?
yeah.
see, I loved everything. But just the idea of a salad mixed with passion fruit, and that for me was so mind blowing, because I'm so used to having passion fruit
All by itself.
with just like that, or just as a juice.
Right.
So having it in a salad, I was like, oh, it's amazing. It was really really good. And
One.
and I know, but I love both the salads.
Okay. With the mangosteen?
The mangosteen.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
That was,
Okay, that one is really unique to here, and it's one of my favorites. So
exactly. And
the
that
mangosteen
was
salad.
amazing. And also my first time eating a mangosteen.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay,
so
well then you need to try actually the fruit by itself.
maybe I might be disappointed.
No,
So
it'll be good.
it'll
It'll be
be
good.
good.
It'll be
But
good.
yeah, I have to say the salads for me took the plate. And I would come back
Yeah.
just to have the salads
Oh,
and to just talk to your aunt. I loved her. She was amazing, and it was so we felt at home,
Oh, good.
and that was, I think, the best thing to ever happen on this trip,
Oh.
to have one place where you could actually feel at home.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very difficult to do that, especially when you're traveling.
Yeah.
But today felt like home,
Oh.
and I love that. Yeah, that was my favorite part.
So this is a bit of my, family, to you guys. I'm really glad that you could
so
experience this.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
No, this is what life's about. Okay. Any favorite dish from this evening?
Rice.
Abhijit?
The rice.
All of it. Oh, the rice.
The rice.
Oh, he liked the
Yeah.
rice, the herb rice. Okay.
You
All right.
mentioned it, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
did you use this? Did you use that?
Yeah,
It
that's
was the
good.
rice. Yeah.
All right.
We love the rice.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you so much,
So
Abhi.
much fun. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your trip in Thailand.
Thank you.